What is going on, everybody? It's Brian from Brian Loves Bonsai, and I am back with another video for you today. Going to be trying to put out tons of videos this year. My goal is to put out at least one per week. So I am going to be pumping out content, trying to record the work that I'm doing, trying to give you information about what I'm doing. And right now it is my time to work on deciduous trees. I don't have too many conifers. So this is deciduous time for me. It is basically time to repot on a couple of these trees. I have been doing it a little bit early before the buds are swelling, but I am in absolutely zero fear of any significant or extreme temperatures. I think there's a low of 55 coming up kind of soon, which many of you in the north might consider spring temps. And that's the coldest that I'm going to get. That's cooling down 15 degrees from what we have currently. So I am working on these deciduous trees, getting them all repotted. I got lots and lots of content coming up for you in regards to that. And today here we have this American Elm. It is a very old tree, something that I got from the nursery that I work at, Dragon Tree Bonsai. And as you can see, it is in some super duper thick organic soil, but it has a ton of healthy root mass. These American elms, actually I believe this is the Floridana version of the American elm, which does tend to tolerate the weather down here, although I can never be sure 100% if it is a Floridana or not. These American elms do seem to really like, or not mind at least, being wet. So a lot of wet and moisture doesn't really seem to have too much of a negative effect on these. In fact, the nursery owner had a cutting of one growing in a bucket of water for like 2 years, straight up in a bucket of water, trying to transplant that over to some soil, and ended up losing it. But growing in water, not an issue. So right now I'm going to do not too much structural work to these roots. I'm doing a very exploratory first exposure to what might possibly be going on inside of there. As you can see with the American elms, we do have some really long, wiry, thick roots, as are custom with deciduous. And I'm going to try and keep most of them this time. I'm really focusing on seeing what's underneath, seeing what's going on inside, and then clearing out a lot of that organic, replacing it with some good high quality bonsai soil, my mix that I use. My standard mix, 1:1:1, lava, expanded shale, and pine fines. And that's something that I'm using on pretty much every tree. I experimented with akadama all year last year, and I just was not super satisfied with it. Down here in South Florida, I like to keep my trees kind of wet, and akadama down here just kind of retains that water maybe a little bit too much for my liking. It is also obviously extremely expensive. And as long as the trees are happy with the medium that I'm using, I'm going to keep using it. And so far has been super for all the trees that have been growing in it. Now you may notice with a lot of the trees that I'm repotting that it may seem like I'm cramming them down into some pretty small pots, and that is definitely on purpose. That is by design. My goal with a lot of the projects that I have are to kind of slow them down a bit, gain control, and kind of assess the situation rather than just stick them in a very large pot, put them on full force, and then let them run. I do have at least 200 trees, probably 300 trees, maybe more than that. And so if I let everything just go at full speed, it would definitely be hard to contain all of the work that I'm doing. And so I don't mind slowing things down, seeing what's what. It's always possible to move something into a large grow pot or into the ground for a couple of years in the future, and that's not something that I'm really super stressing about. My first move is usually to reduce, see what's healthy, and then switch to bonsai soil and start expanding from there if necessary. I am experimenting with a couple of fronts on this tree. However, it does pretty much only fit into this pot one way. And since there's a lot of growth and future for this tree, finding the front is not super necessary right now. and so I just go ahead and go through and finish repotting. I will throw on a little bit of music to finish out while you see the tree in 360 degrees at the end. I hope you enjoyed watching this repotting video and hearing some of the information I have to share. Let me know what you think, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Brian Loves Bonsai.